What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Rope Monster coming at you here from beautiful, sunny Playa del Carmen. I've got some very serious questions today, and the broad question is Playa del Carmen actually going a little bit crazy collectively, and why exactly is that? So we're gonna hit the beach to get some insight into what exactly is going on with this situation. And then we're going to segue into another question. So guys, stick around to the end of the video for the biggest takeaways that I have. It is a gorgeous day, but there's just one problem: the smell. And we're going to really be talking about the subject of sargassum today and what's actually happening with that sargassum and the potential serious health effects it's having on the community here in Playa del Carmen. All right, guys, vámonos. So guys, I'm not even to the beach yet, and actually when I left my front door of my house today, it was like getting punched in the face. There's a really strong rotten egg, pungent smell coming from the sargassum, and it seems to be getting worse and worse. We are in the hottest month as well. July, there's a phenomenon called canicula, hope I'm saying that right, here in Quintana Roo. And it's basically an epic heat wave. And so what happens with all that heat? Well, they're piling up this sargassum, and the piles are getting bigger and bigger, and it's rotting. And when it rots, what happens? Well, I've been doing a lot of research into this, and I think the results are going to shock you. I'm going to share with you some actual science and numbers here. First and foremost, let's check out the situation. So they've done a pretty good job of cleaning up 72 here. The problem is, as you've seen in my last couple of videos, I was down there toward Punta Esmeralda, and there's just piles and piles and piles of sargassum rotting. Massive piles. And it goes on and on and on to the south as well. So let's talk a little bit about what's actually happening when this stuff sits in the sun. I haven't heard anybody talk about this. Today is the day that we actually talk about rotting sargassum and the potential health effects that it's having on everybody here in Playa. Is Playa del Carmen going crazy, and why? Check this out, guys. The smell here is pungent, it's nasty, it's really throat choking actually. My sinuses have been irritated lately. I went to the ear, nose, and throat doctor yesterday, and that place was full. The clinic was absolutely full. And so I've been doing some research about sargassum and off-gassing. So this sargassum, when it sits in the sun and rots, it off-gasses two very toxic gases. One of them being hydrogen sulfide, which is heavier than air, smells like rotten eggs. It's toxic at higher concentrations, and it accumulates in low-lying areas. So we'll talk more about the actual toxicity levels of hydrogen sulfide in a little bit. The other gas that comes off of this is ammonia, which has a sharp, pungent odor, irritates the respiratory tract, causes headaches, nausea, irritated eyes, nose, throat, difficulty breathing, and dizziness. And I've been noticing a lot of people just kind of acting out of the norm here in Playa del Carmen. People kind of just wandering around in a stupor. I've noticed people getting aggressive and fighting, and I thought maybe that was because of the economic woes of low season. But I really think there's actually a health component here, and I'm feeling it in my throat. I've had a cough for a few days. I have friends who live even closer to the beach than I do, and I would not trade them places for anything. So let's talk a little bit about the precautions and also the actual numbers on the hydrogen sulfide symptoms and what you can expect, because this is some pretty disturbing stuff and nobody's talking about it. So guys, precautions for the hydrogen sulfide, it says avoid prolonged exposure. Use masks if you must be close. I'm not doing that right now, and I'm literally feeling like I'm being choked out. Keep indoor spaces well ventilated. If you experience severe symptoms like difficulty breathing or confusion, seek medical help. And that's what I'm noticing, guys, is people seem confused, myself included. I chalked this up to my with my Lyme disease diagnosis, but I'm wondering now how much of this has to do with exposure to these gases as well. So guys, the hydrogen sulfide symptoms, under 2 parts per million, you only get the smell, okay? Between 2 and 5 parts per million, you get the eye, throat irritation, a headache, and nausea. And you can see that this particular person tasked with maintaining the beaches is indeed wearing a mask. But would you wear a mask if you were coming on vacation to the beach? I don't know. Between 5 and 20 parts per million, there's strong irritation, coughing, dizziness, shortness of breath, and we're talking about hydrogen sulfide, guys. Greater than 20 parts per million, severe respiratory symptoms, risk of loss of consciousness, and of course, greater than 100 parts per million can be rapidly fatal. That's rare in open air beach situations, of course. So guys, my point here is not to be an alarmist. I love Playa del Carmen. I still think it's worth visiting. But it begs the question, is the beach really the place to be right now? And a lot of the ammonia symptoms are overlapping with the hydrogen sulfide, so they have a compound effect. So headaches, irritated throat, eye irritation. If you guys have ever used strong cleaning products, a lot of those have ammonia, and that's the smell that you're getting. It's almost like smelling an indelible marker. So guys, I want to talk seriously about real estate and where you should stay. As I mentioned, I have friends who live really close to the beach, and the insides of their houses smell like sargassum. And I've noticed that some of my closest friends are in very serious mental and or physical distress. Some of them are having psychological issues that are inexplicable. And so I'm truly wondering, once again, not to be an alarmist, but scientifically, guys, speaking, this stuff is rotting in the heat in the hottest month in Playa del Carmen, and it's off-gassing, and the employees out here cleaning this up are wearing masks. But the tourists are not, and the locals are not typically wearing masks. Guys, I'll show some drone footage now of these Chichen Itzas of sargassum, as I call them. There's these mountains of sargassum all the way down the beach. And depending on which way the wind is blowing, that can bring these gases very far from the beach. And guys, I'm legitimately feeling a little bit dizzy after being there right next to that stuff, breathing it in this heat. It is about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, very humid, and I'm legitimately feeling a little bit dizzy. But the problem I want to bring to your guys' attention is that this is getting so strong that we not only smell this on the beach, not only do we smell this on 5th Avenue, but it's actually in town now, up on 10th. I'm actually feeling a bit nauseous. I just had breakfast and it honestly feels like it wants to come up. And so I'm going to show you, rather than tell you, to where I'll go up and see where I can stop smelling the sargassum. And we'll call that the safe zone. Because on any given day, it can be different. If the wind is sweeping from the northeast, as it typically is, it's blowing right over those piles of sargassum and bringing those gases in larger and larger concentrations. As far as I'm speculating anyway, the more sargassum there is, you would think the more heat there is, and the more humidity, you would think maybe the concentration of these gases is going up. That's at least my speculation and what I'm noticing with my own nose. So guys, without further ado, let's go find out how far inland we can smell this sargassum. And guys, thanks for checking out the content. Just smash the like button for me, subscribe if you haven't already, if you find value in this content. For those of you who stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to share with you exactly how this is affecting the rental market here in Playa and the new trend. So guys, I'm here on 5th Avenue and I'm still getting quite the strong smell. It's causing nausea, a little bit of dizziness as mentioned. The disturbing thing is I went to get a basketball the other day from Walmart. For those of you who don't know, I played high school basketball. Still got a pretty sweet jump shot. But I was at the Deportivo, and that's on 10th Avenue. And I could actually still smell it up there. So let's head up to 10th today. Today is actually a beautiful day. The smell's not quite as bad as the other day. But it's really put a damper on the energy here in Playa. I'm always still in pretty good spirits. I'm happy to be getting some sunshine, some exercise. And I know that what we really need is just one good tropical cyclone or hurricane to take this stuff all away. Just like last year we had Hurricane Beryl. So once again, there's always hope. We just really need Mother Nature to clean this up. It's looking like it's not going to be resolved by the humans tasked with the job. So guys, I'm here up on 10th Avenue. Sinuses are irritated. Strong. It almost seems like the smell is stronger up here. Almost as if it's getting trapped in these areas with less wind. So right now I'm up between 10th and 15th. And it smells like rotten eggs. It smells pungent. So the question is, how far do we have to go inland to get some fresh air? And guys, I noticed I was at Hospimart buying some stuff the other day, and that's way up on 90th and Constituyentes, way inland. And I realized I started to feel better up there. That's when I started to think about the off-gassing and the health ramifications of living so close to the beach. Most of us talk about like dream life is living right on the beach. Well, right now, I would say that trend might actually be reversing, and I'm going to show you some actual evidence of that momentarily. Okay. So guys, we're here at 15th Avenue and about 70th. Yes, 70th. And there's a breeze here, and the air feels way less heavy. It's like, okay, I can finally get a good breath of air. So that answers that question for you all, guys. How far do you have to get from the beach to get a breath of safe air? So I truly think that based on those numbers, the 5 to 20 parts per million is very, very possible or probable on the beach and 5th Avenue and even 10th Avenue. And with that being the case, you're looking at things like strong irritation, coughing, dizziness, shortness of breath. I was on a video chat with my dad the other day and I was hacking and coughing and I had no idea why, and it felt like it came out of nowhere. So guys, as promised, I'm gonna show you some evidence of what's happening with rentals here. And this is not just because of low season. I've been here low season before, and the sargassum last year was really not bad at all this time because we had Hurricane Beryl wash it away. And as a result, most of these buildings were fairly occupied. They were, at 80 to 90% occupancy. I'm gonna show you a couple buildings in particular where there's units sitting empty, and I actually have footage of one of the apartments I'll show for you guys who stick around to the end of the video. Guys, back here on 10th Avenue now, and the stench, I'll call it, not even smell, but the stench, is gut-wrenching. It actually feels like it's twisting up my guts. And keep in mind, guys, I live here, so I think this is the result of prolonged exposure. If you're coming down for, say, 4 or 5 days, maybe you'll be completely fine. I think everybody's different, but with prolonged exposure, I think there are some issues going on here, and evidence in people kind of fighting and being lost and confused. But guys, I want to show you a building here in a moment. And there's a couple units actually in both of these buildings that have sat empty for well over a month now. And I think a lot of it has to do with the price and the smell of the sargassum. It just doesn't add up. So as you can see here, guys, the for rent sign in this building right here on 74th. And there's a studio in that building for rent. And I actually looked at it, and I'll put an overlay up on the screen, or I'll just put the video at the end of this video. They want 15,000 pesos for a studio apartment where it reeks of rotten eggs. And I have to say, James, my buddy Jim Watt, if you're watching this, you might have the right idea living on the other side of the highway. That's the trend right now. Luigi, who helps me with filming from time to time, he's moving. He lives by Punta Esmeralda, and he's had it. He's moving to the other side of the highway. He can get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath for 15,000 pesos. And these people think they're gonna get 15,000 for a studio with a partial ocean view and full odor of sargassum. And guys, my old apartment, this guy right here, this building where I used to live, has the for rent sign up, and it's been up for quite a while. And once again, they want $650 US on up to $800 a month for those studios, just for the studios. And they want about 26,000 pesos for these balcony units. Well, those balconies reek of sargassum, and I think the price point is high, and there's no budging, there's no moving. I actually wanted to renew my lease there, and I offered $550 US a month for a studio in low season, and they didn't take it, and now it's sitting empty. Oddly getting a little bit of satisfaction out of that. Guys, back here on 5th Avenue, this Crisol location, there's usually people sitting out having coffee. The smell is truly unbearable. It's not a pleasant experience to sit here and have coffee with that smell. I personally, what am I doing? Well, I signed a lease not too far from here until December, but I'm thinking low season, my new plan could be to rent far away on the other side, over near maybe Plaza Las Americas or some of these other neighborhoods. And guys, in coming videos, I'm gonna show these other neighborhoods and try to show Luigi's new apartment and share exactly what he's paying for that. Guys, if you want those videos of those different neighborhoods that don't reek of sargassum, let me know in the comments below just by typing the word other neighborhoods, sorry, 2 words, other neighborhoods, and I will make that video or that series of video for you guys. I really hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I'm certainly not trying to be an alarmist. Once again, Playa is a great place, but the wind right now, coming from the northeast is blowing right over those sargassum piles, and quite frankly, it's making me sick, and it might be making Playa a little bit crazy. So guys, thanks again for watching the content. Hope you found some value in this. If so, just smash the like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already. I've got some really great videos coming up, including the top 3 steaks in Playa del Carmen under $25 US, so don't miss that one. See you guys in the next one. Rope Monster, out. Other than the sargassum smell, guys, it is a beautiful, beautiful July day here in Playa. Guys, a little bit of bonus material. I did actually speak with some of the employees tasked with cleaning this stuff up, and they work 6 days a week. And they asked not to be on camera, of course, for obvious reasons, but they said that they did feel quite sick. Their eyes were irritated from working in this stuff day in and day out. Some were having nausea and vomiting. And so I can't include that footage out of respect for the employees cleaning this stuff up. But keep that in mind, is these people working tirelessly to clean these beaches up are actually becoming quite ill from this. So be safe, guys. Use common sense. Still, you can enjoy the beach, I'm sure, but maybe limit the exposure. And it is what it is. Let's hope for a nice little tropical cyclone to clean this stuff out. See you guys later on. Guys, I'm back in my apartment right now, and I actually wanted to film more on the beach, but I physically couldn't stand it anymore. I'm actually quite dizzy at this point right now, lightheaded, and I'm well hydrated. I had a good breakfast. I had some mate. I didn't have any coffee just for the purpose of staying hydrated. And so you can see I'm hydrated. There's no dehydration component. It's got to be from the off-gassing of the sargassum. And I was standing outside in front of my building, just kind of like realizing everything was doing this. And I was like, oh God, I got to call it a day. So I will edit this video, get it up for you. I will use some drone footage from the last 2 weeks to show the various beaches and the sargassum situation, just how bad it is. And I have some current drone footage, although I wasn't able to stand out there and fly Dronaldo for very long, shortness of breath and dizziness being the main reasons. So guys, this is a very real thing. In no way am I saying, hey, don't come to Playa del Carmen, don't move to Playa del Carmen, but you may want to consider living on the other side of the highway or a ways away from the beach to protect yourself from this, or be up high in a building. I was hanging out at my friend's penthouse the other day on the 6th floor, and I actually slept like a baby. I slept outside under the moonlight by the pool, and there was no sargassum smell, and I started thinking maybe some of this anxiety and this difficulty breathing is just an air quality issue. But the other thing is you get so much more apartment for your money if you're on the other side of the highway by, say, Plaza Las Americas. You can get a 2 or 3 bedroom for the price of a studio or a 1 bedroom here near the beach. The biggest difference, also there's no sargassum smell. So keep those things in mind, guys. I really try to bring you value, even though these are sensitive subjects. Some people will probably dislike me for this video, but it is my duty to keep you all informed, because you can't see the smell with your eyes. You can see people's videos. I could act like I'm happy-go-lucky and make sure to avoid showing the big piles of sargassum with my camera, but I try to keep it real 100% on this channel, and that's the current situation, guys. I'm gonna sit here and just sit down in the air conditioning for a little bit. Luckily, I have a very airtight apartment. The air conditioning units have filters, but be very cautious of if you are going to rent an apartment here near the beach, make sure that you have some way to filter the inside air. Otherwise, you could have some potential health issues. This is not medical advice, and if you are having serious health issues like trouble breathing, go to the hospital, go to the walk-in clinic, get some professional help. This is no joke. As mentioned, the ear, nose, and throat clinic yesterday was jam-packed. I had an appointment, so I was able to get in. But there was a wait, there was a line out the door. After I checked in, they said, "Toma asiento, take a seat." And I'm like, where? So, all right, guys, see you later on. Thanks for checking out the video. Rope Monster once again, out. One other very important piece of bonus material, guys, is that the area down near 38th, Playa 38, they're doing a much better job of cleaning it up. But then you go further south, down near Fundadores, down near the heart of Centro, and once again, you have that really strong smell. So if you can come down here and rent short term and maybe look for a place where this is not that bad, like on 38th, I have a friend who lives right near the Playa 38 entrance, and his place seems fine. But then I have some other friends who live down CTM, and their place smells very strong of sargassum. So keep that in mind. This is not every single beach in Playa del Carmen, but I will say it's the majority of beaches at this time.